Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and today we are going to learn about the annual STEM Fair at North Quincy High School tomorrow. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, some hazy sunshine out there. It's 27 degrees right now. Today will turn out mostly sunny and a bit milder than it has been. We might even hit 30 degrees, but we'll bottom out again tonight. Under clear skies, temperatures will dip to the single digits. That really is the story for most of the week. It'll stay dry, but relatively chilly with tomorrow. Daytime highs maybe in the low 30s. Some flurries are possible here on Wednesday. The temperatures in the mid-30s and partly sunny. Dry on Thursday, about 32 degrees. But look at those nighttime lows, single digits and teens for most of this week. So winter's grip has a strong hold on us here in February as well. 27 degrees in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, Quincy officials are keeping a very close eye on this morning's high tide with a coastal flood advisory in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon. A combination of astronomically high tides and the effects of the storm that passed offshore could lead to some minor coastal flooding. Quincy Emergency Management Director Dave McCarthy says there was some minor flooding along the Newport Avenue extension in North Quincy yesterday, but he is not anticipating any major issues. In the meantime, snow removal operations continue in the city's business districts and at major intersections after last week's snowstorm. The snow is being hauled to this area at the Quincy Shipyard, courtesy of owner Dan Quirk. Although the parking restrictions in the city have been lifted, officials are asking motorists to continue to try and park on the odd-numbered side of side streets to aid in the snow removal efforts. Residents are also asked to clear snow from fire hydrants near your property to assist the fire department. The public will have an opportunity to comment at tonight's Quincy City Council meeting. President Ann Mahoney says she fully intends to have a public comment period at council meetings, despite the initial objection of Councilor at Large Noel DeBona.
There's not an existing council rule per se, but there is in the charter that says that the chair can have that, and I can put it into the agenda. There's multiple ways we can do it, but you can add it into the rules. I was trying to do it procedurally the correct way by putting it into the rules. We can add it onto the agenda, and eventually something like this where it can become, we talk about, the new councilors are going to be the obstructionists. But this is something that if it continues to be something that is delayed to happen, because I believe 8 of the 9 of us think it's the right thing to do, it will become something that's been obstructed on, and we will have discussions about that. We will have public commentary. I will promise you we will be having that in the future.
DeBona has since said he is in favor of public comments at council meetings, says he objected to the proposal at the last council meeting because he wanted more time to review the proposal. Mahoney says the public comments will have time restrictions and she will not allow any personal attacks. 24 ninth grade Quincy Public School students have got a jump start on their college career after recently completing the early college program in partnership with Quincy College. Earlier this month, the students graduated during the 2nd annual Accelerated Associated Degree Pathway signing ceremony. Quincy College Vice President of Academic Affairs, Karen Manning, said in addition to giving students a head start on their college courses, this program also makes good financial sense.
Tuition for college is so expensive. My niece is turning 38 and she's still paying college tuition. For a high school student, that's probably one of your last reasons you're thinking, but college tuition lives with high school students, college students, for a long time. So again, the opportunity here. So again, this pathway opens up doors. I'm going to be honest, with an associate degree in liberal arts, I've worked in many places. I'm a nurse, from healthcare organizations to academic. I would hire every single one of you on graduation day by earning 2 degrees.
Now, the early college program began in the Quincy Public Schools back in 2021, allowing qualifying high school students the opportunity to take Quincy College courses while they're still in high school. The state recently awarded the public schools in Quincy a $30,000 grant and Quincy College a $50,000 grant to continue that program this year. 2 Quincy schools were recently recognized by the state for showing strong progress, especially in English language arts and math. The Beechwood Knoll Elementary School and Southwest Middle School were praised for the dedication of students, the commitment of educators and staff, and the partnership of families across both school communities. Superintendent Kevin Mulvey, Assistant Superintendent Aaron Perkins, Beechwood Principal Marissa Rodriguez, and Southwest Principal Courtney Mitchell accepted the honors from State Education Commissioner Pedro Martinez and Education Secretary Patrick Tutwiler at the State House. The Massachusetts House has passed a bill that would require the hiring of apprentices for all contracts awarded for public works projects over $10 million. Now, the measure would require projects to hire apprentices to work 5% of the total amount of hours worked, which would scale up to 10% in 3 years and then 15% in 4 years. State Representative Tacky Chan of Quincy says the goal is to increase the number of tradespeople working in Massachusetts.
You have electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, iron workers, tunnel diggers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can make good money, but again, you need to get people who want to work in these trades. So this bill we'll work on tomorrow will help address some of the workforce shortages and put money into pockets for apprentices.
Supporters say the measure would encourage more young people to enter the trades, which will create more union jobs and help replace highly skilled workers who are aging out of the workforce. The bill now moves on to the Senate for further debate. City of Quincy annual census forms are going out in the mail this week. City Clerk Nicole Crispo urging residents to fill out and return the forms to avoid being placed on the inactive voter list.
As people have run into issues at the polling locations, if you don't answer your city census, you automatically go onto the inactive list. So we want to make sure that everybody is active. We provide a prepaid return envelope to all of our residents to return the census. It's a 10-day turnaround. We ask that you get that right back to us so that we can start doing our data processing here.
Crispo says the census data is critical for the school department and for city services and can impact state and federal grants received by the city. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, the annual STEM fair at North Quincy High School is tomorrow. We'll get the details next. Welcome back. The 67th annual STEM fair at North Quincy High School is taking place tomorrow. That's science, technology, engineering, and math. And no, that's not a mistake. 67 years. So a science department head, Claire Boutreau from North Quincy High, is here with us to give us a little history lesson about the science fair. Hi, Claire, great to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
That's when we talked before the program this morning, and I said 67 must be a mistake, right? And you said, oh no, that's the right number. Yeah. Give us a little history, if you can, about this event and how it all got started.
So from what I know from talking with people in the community, the STEM Fair was started 1959 by Wilma Shields, who was the department chair in North Quincy, I guess, back then.
Okay.
And she ran the STEM Fair for many years before Mary Young took over, who was another department head who was very strongly involved in STEM Fair. So here we are, 67 years later.
Started as just a science fair, right?
It was a science fair initially, yes. And then recently it has kind of evolved to be more comprehensive, so including the technology, engineering and math as well.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Claire, and then your history at North.
So I have been at North now, this is my 5th year at North. I've been in Quincy Public Schools for 26 years, so I was at Quincy High School before I moved over to North. I am the Science Department Chair over there, so I teach and then have some admin responsibilities as well.
Sure. And what does the science department consist of at North Quincy High School?
So we have 15 teachers. We have biology classes, chemistry, physics, and then we have electives for upperclassmen. So we have AP classes, zoology, marine science, forensics, environmental science. There's a wide range of classes that students can take.
Yeah. For all grade levels?
All grade levels, so we start the freshmen and sophomores would do biology and then chemistry, and then junior, senior year they can do physics or elective sciences. They can go on and take those AP classes if they want. We also have a strong EL program for our English language learners. So they have a similar pathway, but there's more focus on helping them with language. So yeah, we have a wide variety of classes, something to fit everyone.
Speaking of English language, I detect a bit of an accent in yours. So you're not from here originally, are you?
I am not, no. I came over here 2000 from Scotland, originally from Scotland.
Okay. And right to Quincy, or where did your path take you?
I came from Glasgow, Scotland to Quincy, Massachusetts.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And started teaching. Did you teach in Scotland prior?
I did not. I did my student teaching,
see.
and I did a teaching degree in Scotland.
Yes.
And then when I finished that degree, I came over here and started teaching for Quincy Public Schools.
And why science, Claire? What is it about science that you love? Yeah.
I love the whole process.
Really?
My background is in immunology, so the body.
Yes.
So I just think it's fascinating learning all about how the body works and discovering more.
Yeah. Now, have you been in charge of the STEM fair since you came to North?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So the past 5 years
Yes.
you've been running it.
Yep.
What is the STEM fair now? What does it consist of?
So we have, for this year, we have 130 students who are presenting their projects. So they have been working since September. And they come up with a topic that they are interested about.
I was going to ask about that, if they were assigned a topic, but no. Okay.
So they can pick anything. Usually it works best if it's something that they're interested in, because they're going to be more involved in the process.
Like you would pick immunology, right?
Yes.
If it were you,
Yeah.
but another student might pick biology or marine science or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So something that they're interested in usually works the best.
Yes.
And they figure out what their question is, what they're trying to find out and answer, and then they go through, they have to figure out how to set up experiments, run those experiments, deal with anything that happens. So when things go wrong, they have to be able to go back and look and see what happened, try fix it. And then run the experiment again, look at all their data, show what their data tells them, and then they have to put that together in a presentation. So on STEM Fair night, judges will come in, they have those trifold boards.
Yes, right, yeah.
The last few days I've seen kids walking around North Quincy with the boards. So they present all their information on the boards, and then they have to talk with the judges about their research, and the judges will ask them questions. And then the judges will have a rubric that they're filling out based on their presentation. So it's pretty involved.
It's really starting from nothing, though. I mean, this is more than just science skills that they need. They need organizational skills, right? Research skills, communication skills, even just to come up with a topic, and then to come up with the questions to ask about the topic and what problem to solve. So it's much more than just dropping some baking soda into a glass of water and seeing it bubble over, right? It's much more than that.
Yeah.
Is it a requirement?
So our advanced level students, it's a requirement for students in advanced level biology and chemistry. So freshmen and sophomores 9th and 10th graders who are in biology and chemistry have to take
They
it
have
as
to do
part
it.
of the class.
Okay.
And then we do have some students that are taking it just for fun,
Yeah.
like they like
Yeah.
being involved in STEM Fair and looking at the possibilities of advancing. So we have a handful of students that are doing it just for fun.
Yeah, great. Now, have you had an early peek at any of the projects? Can you give us a kind of a preview?
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's one student who's doing a project about protein buildup in the brain and how that can lead to Alzheimer's, and then looking into some treatments for Alzheimer's. We have a student who is looking at ocean acidification and how that affects the shells of blue crabs.
Interesting.
And then we have another student who's looking at cold proofing your sourdough. So
Okay.
we have a wide variety of topics.
Right, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you have seen many over the years, right? Are there any that stand out that have kind of, got on to, I don't say make a new invention, but at least allowed for further study of a topic?
Yeah,
Really?
so we had a student 2 years ago, Anna, who advanced to the International STEM Fair. She did a project on microalgae and how it affects ocean acidification. So she has gone pretty far. There were a lot of people at the regional and state level who were very impressed with her project. She made it to the International STEM Fair as well, and had opportunities to work with local researchers and companies. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for kids.
For sure, yeah, and who knows where it could lead to in the future, right?
Yeah.
So that brings up another interesting point. It's not just local. There's regional, national, and then international. Is that right?
There's a regional fair, so we are in Region 5. So our regional fair takes place at Bridgewater State College. So Region 5 is kind of southeast Massachusetts, Cape and the Islands. So the top 10 projects from each school can advance to that Region 5 fair.
Okay.
And then from the Region 5 fair, projects are then advanced onto the Massachusetts State Fair, which happens in April.
Okay.
And then from the State Fair, students can advance to the International Fair,
Oh, right,
which
to
will be in, that's in May, and it's going to be in Arizona. So there's kids from 70 countries
Yes.
that compete at the International Fair.
Wow.
So,
Do you know if anybody from North ever gone that far?
yeah, we have 2 students in the last 4 years have advanced to the international level.
Wow.
And many before that,
Sure.
but I don't know the
Yeah.
stats
Sure.
before that.
Can we talk a little bit about the event tomorrow?
Yep.
It's from 5:30 to 8:30 in the cafeteria at North, right?
Yes.
So what will be happening?
So 5:30, students will be ready to present their projects. Families are wanting to come and see their students' projects. They can come between 5 and 5:30,
Okay.
and then again between 8 and 8:30.
Okay.
So between 5:30 and 8, we close the STEM fair just for judging.
Gotcha.
So judges are going around talking to the students. Students are presenting their work, answering the questions. We hope that each student is going to get judged 3 or 4 times. And then we collate all the results and take a look, and we then designate a first, second, third place winner.
Okay.
And then we have positions 4 through 10 get honorable mention.
Okay. All right. And they know that night, tomorrow night, that whether or not
No.
they don't know right
No.
away. Okay. Oh, that's
It takes us a
excruciating.
while.
Okay.
It takes us a while to go through.
Sure.
They should know by the end of the week.
End of the week. Okay.
End of the week, they should know. Yes.
Okay. Who are the judges, Claire? Who's judging?
So judges, they're all volunteers, so
Okay.
they're giving up their time to come and help us out. Some of the judges have been doing the STEM fair for years, so they are just repeat
It's on
judges
their
that keep
agenda.
coming back.
Yeah.
Some of the judges are retired teachers or staff from
Nice.
Quincy Public Schools. We have some engineers coming from local companies. We have people from biotech industry nearby. And then we have people that just signed up and were interested.
Okay.
So we have a wide range of people coming.
Okay. And there's room for more judges, perhaps?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We always need judges.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
reach out to you at North?
Yes.
To sign up
Yep.
to be a judge?
Yep.
Okay. What do they win? Do they win a prize?
So they win cash prizes.
Cash?
Yep. Which they can use however they want.
Okay.
Sometimes students will use it to reimburse if they've bought supplies for their projects.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
They can use that money to kind of reimburse themselves. Sometimes they might just go out and get something for fun.
To treat themselves, right?
Yep.
Yeah. You have a lot of local sponsors that have helped out to offer the prizes, right?
We do, yes. We're very grateful to the sponsors that help us pull this off.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. What does kind of the future hold for a STEM career, Claire? You know, where can folks take the knowledge that they've gained throughout North Quincy High School and through this fair, and then, you know, further their education or maybe make a career out of it?
Yeah, so I think the beauty with STEM is that you don't have to go into science or technology, engineering, math with a STEM background. Some of the skills that students are getting through this process, communication, presentation skills, data analysis,
Team building, right?
team
Teamwork?
building, being able to problem solve,
Right.
critical thinking. I mean, those are skills that any employer would be looking for.
Sure.
So they don't have to stay in STEM.
Okay.
If they do stay in STEM, I mean, STEM is a great career to get into. I think at the moment it's one of the fastest growing sectors of the economy.
Sure.
So
The healthcare industry for certain, right?
yeah, because it intersects with so much other
Certainly,
stuff,
yeah.
right?
Biotech, you mentioned. is
Biotech,
another one.
environmental issues.
Certainly.
So there's lots of jobs out there.
Renewable energy, perhaps an emerging
Yep.
field as well.
Yep. AI.
AI. I was going to ask about AI, if it's going to show its face at the STEM fair this year.
Yes, we
Yes.
do have a project where a student is looking at AI hallucinations and comparing different AI platforms and looking at the rate of hallucinations
Wow.
with AI. So, yep, there's a few AI projects in there as well.
Yeah, it must fascinate you to see the creativity that these kids come up with and the interest that they have. I'm trying to think way back to my high school years. I don't think I had that. So for you to see it must be very rewarding as a teacher.
Yeah, it really is. It's fantastic. One of the best things about teaching is, you know, seeing the moment where kids, you know, everything
It
falls
clicks,
into
right?
place
Yeah.
and they understand. So it's really cool seeing that through that
Yeah.
process.
Now, during the fair itself, are there actual experiments that are happening, or is it just kind of a presentation of what the project was?
It's a presentation. Some of the students will bring in some of the supplies that they've used. So it's not uncommon for you to see maybe, you know, jars of things
Right.
or blue crabs,
all right.
shells that they've been looking at.
Yep.
I don't think he'd actually be able to bring the crabs in. We're not allowed. There's some regulations about using animals.
Gotcha. Pictures of them, though.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
But yeah, it's not unusual to see the stuff that the students have been working on. That
Yes.
is part of their presentation, or can be part of their presentation as well.
Sure, sure. And I think the neat thing about it that doesn't get talked about a lot is for the hours you mentioned, the public can come and see these, right? And see what these kids are doing.
Yeah. It's fascinating. Some of the knowledge, when you start talking to the kids,
Yes.
they have done so much research
Right.
on this.
Second nature to them, right?
Their knowledge
Yeah.
is unbelievable. So sometimes even when they're talking to the department, we are sometimes having to look things up or try to figure out what they're saying.
Exactly, yes. We do want to mention, too, that Quincy High School's STEM fair is going to be Thursday night from 5:30 to 8:30 in the Quincy High School A wing, 3rd and 4th floors. They're only on their 17th, though, Claire. You've got 50 years on them.
Yeah.
But it works about the same way, right? In
It
terms of
does,
judging
yes.
and team presentation, things like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
But we wanted to make sure we get Quincy High in there, too, as well.
And I'm sure they are looking for judges as well. So
Sure.
if Tuesday night doesn't work for judging, then I'm sure they're looking for
I was going
people
to ask
on
if there's
Thursday.
crossover. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you work with the science department at Quincy High on this particular project?
Yeah, we have a history of working
Okay.
together. they actually helped us out with some of the materials
Okay.
for one of our projects for one of our students this year.
Nice,
So
nice.
yeah, we work together.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, 67th annual, it must be one of the first in the region at least, if not the country.
Yeah, so I think the Massachusetts Fair was maybe first.
Okay.
I think the Massachusetts Fair, they're on their 68th year.
Okay. Wow, all
So
right.
North Quincy and Wilma Shields
Yeah.
picked it up for North pretty quickly
Right on
after
top
the
of it.
state started it. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for stopping by and sharing a little bit about the fair with us and highlighting some of the special work of these kids. Really appreciate the opportunity.
thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Check the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Kind of what you see is what you get. Sunny and cold. Temperatures right around 30 this afternoon. We're down to the single digits again tonight, so anything that does maybe melt will be refreezing, and you can kind of ditto that right through most of this week with daytime highs in the low to mid 30s and nighttime lows in the teens and single digits, maybe some flurries around here. On Wednesday, darn, that Punxsutawney Phil looks like he was right. Thanks again to Claire Boudreau for joining us from North Quincy High School.
Thank you.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching Friday here on the show. Quincy Animal Shelter stopping by with an update. Meantime, you can always visit our website anytime, qatv.org. You'll find all of our latest programs there. There's news, information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.